In the category Feature News Report Serious Feature, the nominations are
La última esperanza para encontrar un hogar. Montgomery Community Media.
Final Emmy in this category goes to
La última esperanza para encontrar un hogar. Montgomery Community Media.
Niños colombianos que visitan nuestra región este verano esperan por un milagro, ser adoptados.
Son niños muy buenos que están listos para ser adoptados
Before President Trump and Prime Minister Theresa May meet Friday to talk trade, ongoing national security, Brexit, and of course that other important summit he has next week with Vladimir Putin, the two leaders dined together on Thursday night with their spouses in a formal dinner set at Blenheim Palace, specifically chosen because it was the birthplace of Prime Minister Winston Churchill, one of the president's heroes, of whom he has a bust in the Oval Office. The president and Mrs. Trump was greeted by the prime minister and her husband with a musical performance. The president's entourage included his national security advisor, John Bolton, Stephen Miller, press secretary Sarah Sanders, and new to the White House, Bill Shine. The president, fresh off the NATO summit, which he declared a success in a surprise press conference earlier Thursday, indicated in that conference as well that he questioned May's approach to Brexit, suggesting it isn't happening in the way that the British people had hoped for when they voted to leave the European Union. Now, the president had also said earlier in the week that he wouldn't advocate for either a hard or soft exit from Brexit, saying that either way the UK would be successful, but also not offering strong support for Theresa May when asked if he thought that she should resign, saying it's ultimately up to the people of the United Kingdom. Now, there's been a lot of talk of ongoing protests leading up to the president's visit here in the UK, and on the road to the palace on Thursday evening, there were protesters. However, there were a handful of supporters for the president as well, and some of the Londoners we talked to on the street actually expressed support for the president and also expressed frustration over issues like Brexit, stagnated wage growth, and what they say is an ongoing immigration crisis in the UK rather. Now, on Friday, the president and Theresa May will meet at Chequers, where you can expect that Prime Minister May will seek some kind of answer from President Trump on what a trade deal would look like between the two countries post-Brexit. Reporting from London, Emerald Robinson, One America News.
The trees of this calm neighborhood in Carrollton separated from the busy streets of Isle of Wight County. It's the type of place you wouldn't just stumble upon, you'd be looking for it. And it appears someone was the morning of October 2nd, 2013.
911, where's your emergency?
Hi.
What's going on?
Hi, my daughter was abducted.
The frantic father called 911 with an alarming story. Someone kidnapped his 11-year-old daughter, but hours later dropped her back off in her neighborhood.
Just calm down, okay? Just breathe for me. I know. I understand.
The little girl was just trying to get to the bus stop that morning here in this neighborhood in Carrollton. Her parents had already left for work. But before the little girl could get to that bus stop, a man came up to her.
She told me that a stranger drove up, said, "Get in the car." She said no. She was screaming at the top of the lungs.
Screaming, but not able to get away. The man grabbed her and forced her into the car. By the time her kidnapper brought her back, it was just after noon. Sheriff's deputies responded, and investigators like Lieutenant Tommy Potter began working the case. A case that's still unsolved.
This is a very disturbing course of events.
Investigators gave News 3 exclusive access to the case file to capture a kidnapper. The girl had a vivid memory of what happened that day. She helped investigators put together this sketch, but there's one characteristic that's hard to illustrate.
Exact words were freckles, freckles, freckles everywhere.
She also remembered his car as looking similar to this Chevy Cavalier. A surveillance camera caught the car driving through Suffolk. During the drive, the man sexually assaulted the girl twice, including once in the woods off of this road in Isle of Wight County. And the man kept apologizing.
I think it shows someone who definitely knows right from wrong And I think that was the ultimate decision that led him to dropping her back off.
And once he did, the victim used her memory to help investigators, even telling them about Christmas ornaments similar to these the man had in his car.
These type of cases, when a tip comes in, no matter at the end of the day how tired you are, is you find something within you to kind of give it the extra, little get up and go.
That drive to finally catch this kidnapper keeps them going. Lieutenant Potter says investigators won't give up.
This has been an exhaustive.
One America's Trey Yingst is in Houston, where rescue operations are continuing. What do you have for me, Trey?
That's right. Search and rescue operations are underway here in Houston, Texas. If you look behind me, this is a residential neighborhood. We are currently in a boat on a street that goes down the middle of that neighborhood. And as you can see, the tops of cars and vans just peeking out here above the edge of the water. We've been with a crew from Fort Worth, Texas today, and another gentleman from Houston. And people have been traveling from all over the country here to Houston to try to help the residents that are trapped. And like I said, this is very much still a search and rescue operation. There are hundreds of boats in the water today in the streets of Houston trying to ensure that people can get to safety. We do know that the death toll in the Hurricane Harvey flooding has now risen to over 20 people, including a police officer. But really, the streets of Houston look much like this. And it's not just Houston. We've been hearing reports from all over Southeast Texas of flooding, just like you see behind me. And as we go through these streets, we're hearing calls for help. The crew that we are with right now in this boat carrying water with them. There's many people that haven't had access to food and water for days. They're in desperate need of help here in Houston, and hoping that the federal government in Washington and those politicians on Capitol Hill are going to be able to send them the aid that they need to recover from this deadly storm.
Trey, the conditions there look like rain has kind of cleared up there in Houston for now, but what is the forecast looking ahead for this area?
So this area has certainly cleared up. The concern here is the bayous around here. Right now we are actually in part of the Buffalo Bayou that really snakes its way throughout Houston. Now this normal bayou would never come over its banks. We've talked to a number of people who said they've lived here for 20 years and have never seen flooding like they are seeing today. But like I said, this is still a very active situation. The waters continue to rise despite the fact that the rain has stopped. And the big concern for officials, local and state here in Houston, is that they are not going to be able to get to these people on time. A lot of these people have been without food and water for a number of days now, and they're just now being rescued. We're going to be out with this crew the rest of the day to observe some of the rescues that they are taking part in. Very quickly here, I want to talk to Stephen, who's from Houston. He's been out here rescuing people all day. Stephen, talk to me about what you've seen out here. What are people going through?
Complete devastation. This city and its occupants have lost everything. About 40% of the county, Harris County alone, is underwater. We've never seen anything like this. It's worse than Allison. It's worse than the tax day floods. It's the worst.
I've seen a number of people get into boats around here. When you do rescue someone from their neighborhood, from their home, what sorts of things have they been saying to you?
You know, there have been a mixture of emotions. Some are happy, some are crying, some are hungry, some don't say anything at all. Just complete shock.
Stephen, thank you so much. As you can see there, a number of rescuers out here, Stephen included, from Houston, trying to not only help themselves and their families who may be trapped in this flooding, but also help their neighbors.
B-52 pilot Heath White ran his first marathon in Diego Garcia. He's seen a lot, experienced a lot, but his toughest challenge may have been when he learned that he and his wife were about to be the parents of a child with Down syndrome.
I was just terrified, you know, and how it reflected on me and just all types of stuff whenever we found out.
Then after Paisley was born, Heath did an about-face.
She's the best baby you could ask for.
Realizing that, guilt set in with his father.
I felt bad about that, about how I'd felt for 9 months, not enjoying her, or looking forward to her really getting here that much. And so I just wanted to let everybody know that I was proud of her.
Ready to go train?
So Heath set out to include Paisley in his next marathon. He recently competed in the Little Rock Marathon, pushing Paisley in a stroller for most of the 26.2 miles, then carrying her to the finish line.
didn't slow down because I had an angel in front of me pulling me along the whole way. So people cheering for her and everything. So it was by far the most fun I've had.
Heath hopes not only to alleviate his guilt and develop a closer relationship with Paisley, but step by step to increase awareness of Down syndrome.
In the beginning, you think about everything, you know, how your whole life is going to change and that, you know, this baby's going to be with us forever, you know, and, you know, how's that going to affect retirement and everything, and it's just one day at a time.
Accepting Paisley as she is no longer a concern for this father. He's focused now on not putting limits on what she can do.
I want whatever she wants, you know, give her the opportunity to you know, be normal, whatever will generate out of somebody.
If you like the sound of this, you'll definitely like the sound of this.
This has got to be in Harley's top 10 anywhere in the country size-wise. We're not the largest, but we're close.
Bumpus Harley-Davidson opened one of the biggest Harley dealerships in the country right here in Memphis today.
Really a thrill for us. It gives us a lot more room so we can have more variety of, you know, Harleys, everybody customizes their own thing. Maybe now we can carry enough to really give everybody a lot of variety for what they do.
Being that this is the grand opening of this brand new massive Harley-Davidson dealership, I got in the spirit and bought me a brand new Harley-Davidson t-shirt.
Clothing, pinball machines, a little bit of everything.
So many bikers showed up for the new store's opening today, it looked more like a bike rally.
Hopefully it means we've been taking care of people pretty good for a while. And hopefully they trust us to keep on taking care of them. They want to come by and see it. It's been terrific. The response we've had on the new motorcycle has been super. And used bikes.
In hog heaven with photojournalist James Murphy, Tom D's Fox 13 News.
Live now with the very latest. Now, Marcy, we're right here where that fire took place off of Border Road in between Business and the Expressway. Now, what I can tell you is that crews have already cleared the scene, but take a look behind me. You're going to see a pile of burned tires. Now, this vacant lot is full of tires, and you can see this pile right here. Now, officials tell us that at this time, this fire is being ruled an accident. However, ironically, it was actually the crews that started this fire, and they were trying to clear out this lot.
A big black cloud of smoke could be seen billowing out of this vacant lot as Alamo, Weslaco, San Juan, and Hidalgo County fire crews fought to suppress the flames.
I just got a call from home that's saying that there was a fire at our house, so I came as fast as I could, and apparently, thank God it wasn't our house, but it happened to be a fire over here next to us.
The blaze started before noon Friday at a vacant lot off Border Road. It was filled with old tires left behind after a tire stripping business moved away.
This area has been filled with tires for quite a few years, so we were surprised that it had caught on fire.
The fire actually started by workers that were here, starting the cleanup process. They were waiting for a truck and making room for it. They decided to start a little fire to warm up.
Fire officials say they encountered a couple issues while trying to put out the blaze. Alamo Fire Chief Espinosa says not only was the closest hydrant about half a mile away, the smoke from the burnt rubber was also a problem.
We have to keep the air tanks filled and refilled every time they go in there, so that's a slow process.
Several nearby homeowners were put on notice for possible evacuation. Gracia was one of them. He says he lived here for 12 years and has never seen a fire like this before.
Well, first, of course, the well-being of my family, getting them somewhere safe. And next was, well, I do have a lot of dogs, so trying to figure out where am I going to take them next.
Fortunately, no residents were evacuated and no injuries were reported.
These burn tires are here. Wow. Chief Espinosa says that the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality is already involved. He also says that the fire posed a risk to only a couple homes south of this lot due to the toxic fumes. Now, Chief Espinosa also explained to Channel 4 that the burnt rubber actually creates large particles, and it's very hard for your lungs to be able to take that in. So if you have a pre-existing respiratory illness, it could actually worsen it. Now, although this pile of burnt tires remains, the smoke has already cleared out of here. In Alamo, I'm Ashley Custer.
B-52 pilot Heath White ran his first marathon in Diego Garcia. He's seen a lot, experienced a lot. But his toughest challenge may have been when he learned that he and his wife were about to be the parents of a child with Down syndrome.
I was just terrified, you know, and how it reflected on me and just all types of stuff whenever we found out.
Then after Paisley was born, Heath did an about-face.
She's the best baby you could ask for.
Realizing that, guilt set in with this father.
I felt bad about that, about how I'd felt for 9 months, not enjoying her, or looking forward to her really getting here that much. And so I just wanted to let everybody know that I was proud of her.
Ready to go train?
So Heath set out to include Paisley in his next marathon. He recently competed in the Little Rock Marathon, pushing Paisley in a stroller for most of the 26.2 miles, then carrying her to the finish line.
Didn't slow down because I had an angel in front of me pulling me along the whole way. So people cheering for her and everything. So it was by far the most fun I've had.
Heath hopes not only to alleviate his guilt and develop a closer relationship with Paisley, but step by step to increase awareness of Down syndrome.
In the beginning, you think about everything, you know, how your whole life is going to change and that, you know, this baby's going to be with us forever, you know, and, you know, how's that going to affect retirement and everything, and it's just one day at a time.
Accepting Paisley as she is no longer a concern for this father. He's focused now on not putting limits on what she can do.
I want whatever she wants, you know, give her the opportunity to you know, be normal, whatever that may be.
The reasoning behind Louisiana's new law concerning scrap metal dealers is simple.
Help the police locate and find the criminals.
How does the new law affect people other than scrap metal dealers and folks looking to sell the alloys? It means thieves will be less inclined to steal air conditioners and car parts that contain valuable metals. Under the new law, dealers must photograph the metal being sold, record information about the vehicle used to transport the metal to the dealer, make a copy of the seller's ID, and obtain a thumbprint from the person selling the metal.
As the price of metals has skyrocketed over the last few years, that's made thieves more brazen and bold. They've targeted electricians, plumbers, anyone in the construction business, but not just them. They've also targeted homes and individuals to steal the air conditioners for the aluminum coils.
The new system isn't cheap for scrap metal dealers.
But I'd say $100,000 for all yards.
Dealers are required to submit a report to local law enforcement via the internet so police can access the information to investigate crimes involving metal theft, a crime that's become more and more popular in recent years.
It's went up significantly.
Aluminum, copper, and brass prices have gone up in the last few years, and one reason? Overseas ammunition manufacturers are grabbing up the metals as soon as they hit the market.
With the war and different things, so yeah, ingot makers and all have been more hungry, so to speak.
So Harley will generate out of somebody.
If you like the sound of this, you'll definitely like the sound of this.
This has got to be in Harley's top 10 anywhere in the country size-wise. We're not the largest, but we're close.
Bumpus Harley-Davidson opened one of the biggest Harley dealerships in the country right here in Memphis today.
Really a thrill for us. It gives us a lot more room so we can have more variety of, you know, Harleys, everybody customizes their own thing. Maybe now we can carry enough to really give everybody a lot of variety for what they do.
Being that this is the grand opening of this brand new massive Harley-Davidson dealership, I got in the spirit and bought me a brand new Harley-Davidson t-shirt.
Clothing, pinball machines, a little bit of everything.
So many bikers showed up for the new store's opening today, it looked more like a bike rally.
Hopefully it means we've been taking care of people pretty good for a while, and hopefully they trust us to keep on taking care of them. They want to come by and see it. It's been terrific. The response we've had on the new motorcycles has been super, and used bikes.
In hog heaven with photojournalist James Murphy, Tom D's Fox 13 News.
It's just a haven for crime, and it's a haven for drugs.
It's a health hazard. It's a total health hazard, this area.
The area is Harvard Yard, a housing development just 1 mile north of Sunset, Arkansas. Take a look around.
Piles of garbage, overgrown weeds, and abandoned houses line the streets. But that's not all.
Rodents are large and numerous.
Benitria Gist has lived in this community for 2 years. She's fed up with what she calls the substandard living conditions in Harvard Yard.
In 2003, people do not have to live like this in these dilapidated areas.
So Gist decided to get her neighborhood cleaned up. But that's been difficult because the community is on its own.
It's unincorporated, so they don't have a mayor, a city council, that kind of a government to help enforce any laws out here.
And while officials in Crittenden County could enforce the owners of these abandoned homes to take care of their property, Judge Melton Holt says it would cost money nobody seems to want to pay.
They're not going to fix the houses, they're not going to pay the bill. So, you know, the county's going to be out whatever money it takes to do that.
So until somebody decides to take responsibility for the demise of this area, there isn't much Gist and her neighbors can do.
Until the trash is picked up and potentially some of these houses either put back in living condition or tore down, that problem's going to still exist.
Her husband Randy went above and beyond this year to give local children a real scare for Halloween this year. They also hope it'll help them deal with some heartbreaking news they got 2 years ago. Over a month ago, Lori decided she wanted to go all out for Halloween this year. So she and her husband got help from family, friends, and even their 5 dogs to throw a loud and scary Halloween party in their front yard.
Yeah, I hit the big 31 this year, so I told my husband, I said, I don't want to be a grown-up this year. I said, I want to act like a big kid in the yard.
It's not like I'm going to chase you.
They spent over $2,000 on all their decorations, but Lori says it's definitely worth it.
We've been trying for about 8 years, to have children, and we hadn't had any luck. And we've got a lot of friends that have had, young ones, and they're getting of age. So we decided we just really, really wanted to put on a good kids bash. So we went to the extreme.
Since the couple hasn't been able to have children of their own, Lori hopes this will help fill the void they feel.
We love children. That is our heart, and so the more kids that come, the happier we'll be because we're going to put on a show for them.